Hello and welcome to episode 3 of Scary Stories. I'm your host, Re-Gor. We are going to read How to Care for Your Monster. It's a guide on taking care of your monster, whether it's Frankenstein, Dracula, the Wolfman, or the Mummy. So it's written by Norman Bridwell, who is famous for writing the Clifford stories. He wrote and drew all the Clifford stories, and he wrote and drew this book, and I think you and your loved ones will enjoy this. How to care for your monster. So you want to own a monster? Many people do these days. You can bring a monster into your home. It's just a matter of finding one that you like. This book will tell you how to get your monster and how to keep him happy and healthy. Next episode, we're going to work on those shadows. If you are lucky enough to live in a town that has a monster store, getting a monster should be easy. Just show Dad the ad and ask him for some money. Thank him and run before you ask questions. Most monster stores open at midnight, so you may want to take along a friend. If new monsters are too expensive, buy a used monster. Check them carefully. Used monsters may be slightly damaged. Some have been thrown over cliffs or burned a little in old windmills by angry owners or hard-to-please villagers. If you can't buy a new or used monster, perhaps you can have one made to order. The Frankenstein monsters put together in a way I would rather not go into. Making one is not a do-it-yourself project. I suggest that you ask your friendly neighborhood mad doctor for help. He will enjoy picking up the pieces and putting them together, and he probably won't charge you, just the monster. Your friendly neighborhood mad doctor may already have a monster hidden somewhere in his office. Look around. If you find him and he likes you, he may follow you home. The monster, not the doctor. When you get your monster home, make him comfortable. Put him in a dark corner in the cellar. The darker the better. He's used to caves and old rotting windmills. He likes dank places. He will feel better the first night if you rattle a chain and shriek a little. Frankenstein monsters don't usually eat, but they do need electricity now and then to keep them going. You remember that Dr. Frankenstein brought his monster to life with a good jolt of lightning. If yours seems sluggish and dull, hand him a metal pole and send him out to play in a thunderstorm. Alone. He'll love it. I don't need to tell you that plugging him into the house electricity can be dangerous. It can cause real trouble. Whoa. Sometimes, after a really good thunderstorm, your monster may be overcharged. Help him get rid of his excess energy. Let him run the vacuum cleaner and other things. See, he's got the TV for the girl, and he's vacuuming the rug. How helpful. Such a great monster. Another good way to work off his extra energy is to take him for her walk. He will not like to go out in the sunlight. Understand his problem. Make it pleasant for him. If he wants to explore a few dark cellars or manholes, let him. A little curiosity never hurt anyone. Whoa! Your Frankenstein monster enjoys meeting people. Introduce him to your friends. They'll get a real charge out of him. Frankenstein monsters are the nicest kind of monsters because they look like monsters all the time. Give your monster pride in his appearance. Polish his wrist and neck bolts and sew up any loose stitches. If you can't sew, maybe Mom will help. Good luck. To keep his skin a nice smooth green, try using your big sister's green eyeshadow. Share your activities with your monster. After all, he is almost like one of the family. In fact, he's probably better than some of the family. He will like to watch horrible, mean, nasty shows on television. Let him watch the news. Now we move on to another popular monster. Oh, and he's got his teddy bear while he watches the news. Dig up a friend, a mummy. If your family is always telling you to turn down the record player and not shout, giggle, or slam doors, then a mummy is the monster for you. He makes very little noise. Except at night. Then your mummy will go thumping across the attic floor right over the family's head. Well, that'll show them what noise really is. Oh no, that piece of ceiling's going right in Dad's mouth there. That's gross. Where to find your mummy? If your local monster store doesn't stock mummy monsters, you have a problem. Unless someone in your family has stolen a mummy's hand. In that case, the mummy will find you. But don't count on it. Maybe you can get acquainted with a mummy in your local museum. You might also try looking through the museum's trash barrels. Perhaps an old, used mummy is being thrown away. Or maybe you have a friend who's planning to visit Egypt soon. Ask him to pick up a mummy for you. Then you can be sure of having a genuine Egyptian mummy in the best of health. Mummies don't eat, but they enjoy spices, and they need some balsam and aromatic gums now and then to keep them from crumbling. Save your old Christmas trees for the balsam. As for aromatic gums, try spearmint or juicy fruit. Keep the mummy dry. No one likes a soggy mummy. The outer wrappings can be dusty, but not dirty. If your mummy gets dirty, take off the outside wrappings. But don't unwrap him too far. Oh no. Let your little brother or sister play with him. Mummies like to bury things in sandboxes. They also like to play with blocks. Mummies are good at building pyramids. Mummies don't laugh or smile, but most of them are good-natured. This is surprising when you know that what they went through to become mummies. Mummies like to have fun too, so when a salesman comes to your door and asks to see your mummy, let him in. Once in a while, after a mummy comes to live in your house, you will start having bad luck. What you have is the mummy's curse. Don't blame your mummy. If someone woke you up from a 2,000-year sleep, you'd be grouchy too. Vampires. From bat to verse. Vampire fans find it a real challenge to have a vampire around the house. If you want to have a vampire without going to the monster store, try this. Just before dawn, when bats fly back to their caves, go out into the yard. Take a cap with you. When a bat flies by, shout, "Bat, bat, fly into my hat." Throw the cap up in the air. If the bat flies into it, he will fall to the ground. Pop him into a cage and go back to bed. When the sun comes up, look into the cage. Maybe you'll have a bat. There's the guy throwing his cap into the air, catching a bat. And he puts it into the cage. So when you wake up, maybe you'll have a bat. Or maybe you'll have a real vampire. If you do, introduce yourself and ask him courteously if he's looking for a new home. He probably is. Vampires change owners often. Vampires are very dignified and polite, but they have rather peculiar habits of eating and sleeping. So don't bother to fix up the guest room. Your vampire will be happier in a damp, dank corner of the cellar, with his own special bed to lie in when he goes to sleep at dawn. And this guy's named Bela. If you know who Bela is in real life, send us an email. Let us know. Email's in the show notes. This brings us to the fact that your vampire will want to sleep all day and play all night. Nighttime is the right time for him to play. Vampires enjoy a game of night baseball. As long as they are at bat, you know how they are about bats. They also enjoy playing badminton. Now we come to the biggest problem a vampire fan must face. Vampires don't eat the foods that we do. They crave a special liquid diet. So a vampire owner needs to have a large and understanding family with lots of very good friends who will help out at feeding time. One person can't do it all alone. But if your vampire should enjoy too many midnight snacks at your expense, just rub garlic on your neck. He hates garlic. It'll keep him away. It'll also keep away mom, dad, brothers, sisters, friends, the dog, etc. Vampires hate other things. Serve your vampire hot cross buns and he'll leave the table. Vampires do not cast reflections in mirrors. They hate mirrors for that reason. They are very conceited about their appearance, however, so you'll have to keep your vampire looking neat. In that case, you may prefer a shaggier monster. You know what's coming, don't you? If you are a werewolf, you will have to face the fact that you will have a part-time monster. Most of the month, the werewolf will look like you or me. Well, me anyway. But when the moon is full, he will be a real monster and well worth the wait. Werewolves like full moons, wolvesbane, and boys and girls. Tell your friends to lock up their little brothers and sisters when the moon is full. That is the best time to catch a werewolf, when the moon is full. Take a handful of wolfsbane out into the woods and wait. Wolfsbane is the werewolf's version of catnip. It drives them wild. If you are lucky, a werewolf will soon come out of the woods to nibble at wolfsbane and howl at the moon. Don't try to reason with him. Just slap a big cage over him. You can explain things later when the moon is changed. If you can talk him into staying, you and your friends will find that he is a fun monster. Werewolves are not fussy about their appearance. The worse they look, the better. They usually come back from moonlight romps with their clothes all soiled with mud and grass stains and, other things. While the moon is full, it is wise to keep your werewolf well fed with raw meat and wolfsbane. Otherwise, he might stop by the neighbors for a little snack. Oh no! If he acts sluggish and out of sorts, take him to the doctor or a veterinarian. Which one you take him to depends on the moon. Don't delay. It could be distemper. The doctor doesn't want him, and the veterinarian doesn't want him. It could be distemper. Or it could be someone he ate. Count your friends. Don't blame your monster. After all, you wanted a werewolf and you got it. I like that transformation there. I'd have a monster show. Howl, howl, the gang's all here. Instead of hail, hail, get it? Ask your parents or grandparents. When you and your friends all have monsters, it will be fun for the owners to have a monster show. Give prizes for the best ones. Why should the dog and the horse lovers have all the fun? The show must be held on a night when the moon is full so that all the monsters will be monsters. Choose a place where they will be at their best. Any haunted house or deserted graveyard will do. You'll need judges. There must be someone you know who is used to dealing with monsters. How about your teacher? Here are some tips to the judges on what to look for in monsters before awarding the prizes. Frankenstein monsters should be judged for their ugliness, size, surliness, and charm. The shine of their wrist and neck bolts, as well as electrodes on their heads, will be considered. So will the quality of their seam stitching. The best shriek will count points. So you've got, he's a winner, see? And he's a loser. Hi. Hi. Mummies get points for best wrapping, worst aroma, and heaviest feet. Make sure your mummy thumps slowly and loudly across the stage. No tap dancing, please. So here we've got a winner. See, a winner. Boom, 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 boom. And this guy, a loser. What are you going to do? Vampires should look especially neat and dapper. Capes must be neatly pressed, but with just a hint of graveyard mold. Hair should be shiny and slicked down. Teeth must be sharp and bite must be neat. Only 2 punctures per bite, please. Judges should look for an evil glare in the eyes. See, a winner. Oh, and the loser. Oh, look at his clothes. He looks like he got them from the dumpster. It is not good for Dracula to wear clothes from the dumpster. Even a man. Oh, never mind. The werewolf will be judged for the length and coarseness of his hair and the size and sharpness of his claws. His howl will be judged. The louder, the better. His ability to recognize the moon will also be considered. If he howls at a light bulb, you might as well take him home right away. So there we've got a winner. Awee! And then we've got a loser. Arf. I kind of like the look of the loser. I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but he looks kind of, ready for business. As for the prizes, give the mummy ribbons. They love ribbons. That means thanks. Never give a vampire a silver medal. Vampires are terrified of silver for some reason. Toss a vampire an old dime sometime and see what happens. Yeah. If a Frankenstein monster wins a prize, give him something he can use. Give him a trip to the power plant. Danger, high voltage. Werewolves are always thinking of their stomachs. Give them a prize they can eat. Give them the judge. Whoa. He looks full. He certainly got a full belly. Sometimes monsters are better to give than to receive. For that, brother or sister or friend who is very special to you, choose a gift that will bring new surprises each day throughout the year and will be a reminder of you. Give a monster. He won't know how to thank you. There's all that you need to know about monsters now. Go out and catch one. Don't be last in your neighborhood to have a monster. And there you have all the monsters and their owners. Wasn't that great? This is a classic. I love this book, How to Care for Your Monster. At some point, we will be reading the sequel book to this, which is called Monster Holidays. And that's a fun one, and it's just as fun as this book. So if you can find this online, I suggest you get this for your loved ones. How to Care for Your Monster. If you don't already have it, which if you had it as a kid, you should still have it. So if you don't, there's something wrong with you. I'm Re-Gor. I'm your host. This is Scary Stories, and we look forward to seeing you again next episode. Thank you, and have fun in the apocalypse.